Over the years, the world witnessed BTS' spectacular journey from their humble debut to becoming a global phenomenon. Names like Kim Taehyung, better known as V, and Jungkook, the Golden Meanie, have become symbols of love, sincerity, and hard work. They are not only idols to millions of people around the world, but also true artists who pour their soul into every note, lyric, and artwork they create. But behind that success lies a newly revealed story, a huge secret project that turns out to be hidden by their own agency, HYBE. During this time, not a few ARMY suspect something that has not been revealed. Rumors about hidden projects, meetings that were never announced, to the surprised expressions of BTS members during certain interviews. All the pieces of the puzzle have finally found an answer. HYBE has been hiding a collaborative project that was originally designed specifically for Taehyung and Jungkook, a project that, if realized, could potentially change the face of the Korean music industry. This story began more than 2 years ago. At that time, BTS was still actively performing as a full-fledged group, but began to be busy with their own solo projects. Fans began to notice strange patterns in the promotional schedule. For example, Taehyung and Jungkook are often scheduled separately when they are both in the same city. There is no direct collaboration between them, although they are known to be very close. Some of the staff who had worked behind the scenes began to whisper something, that HYBE had put together a unit project for V and Jungkook, a duo that would combine their vocal power, visuals, and artistic depth. However, oddly enough, the project never saw the light. The ARMY is not silent. They began to string together clues from live Wevers, from behind-the-scenes vlogs, to brief interactions during concerts. The big question arises, is HYBE holding back something that even Taehyung and Jungkook themselves don't know about? The truth was finally exposed when a former HYBE producer, who now prefers to live abroad, leaked internal documents through an exclusive interview. In the document, there is a shocking project name, Eternity. Eternity is a unit album project completely centered on the concept of time, space, and eternity of love. Designed since 2021, the project features duet and solo songs created specifically to showcase the deepest emotional sides of Taehyung and Jungkook. More surprisingly, the project is already in the pre-production stage. Several song demos have been recorded by internationally renowned composers. Even the album concept visuals have been worked on by the same creative team that once handled the BTS universe. However, this is where it all gets fuzzy. The document states that the Eternity project was unilaterally terminated by HYBE's management board in mid-2022, citing reorganization of business priorities and long-term strategies for the individual careers of the members. But suspicions were raised when it was said that the decision was made without the direct consent of both Jungkook and Taehyung. A few days after the leak went viral, an old video from Jungkook's live Wevers went viral again. In the video, Jungkook had read the comments of fans who mentioned the word eternity. His facial expression changed instantly, from a light laugh to bewilderment and silence. Shortly after, he nodded slowly and said, "That? I can't talk about that yet." His words were more than just confusion. It was a sign that even he didn't know the whole story. Meanwhile, Taehyung, who is active solo in the world of art and jazz music, gave a more symbolic response. In a post on Instagram stories, she uploaded an image of an almost exhausted hourglass and a quote from Pablo Neruda, "I love you without knowing how, or when, or from where." Many believe that this is a form of expression of his restrained anger, or deep sadness that a work that should have been their legacy never materialized. HYBE did not remain silent. After the report went public, the agency released a short statement saying that many projects were considered and not all of them could be implemented due to various technical considerations and artist strategies. However, this statement actually triggers more questions. If such a large project is considered not worth implementing, then why come to the stage of pre-production? South Korean and international netizens reacted strongly. They called for justice for Taehyung and Jungkook with hashtags such as Let Taekook Shine and Bring Back HYBE. Within 24 hours, the hashtag was trending in more than 20 countries. More deeply, Many questioned whether HYBE was deliberately blocking the formation of this duet unit for fear of its impact on BTS's overall group dynamics. There is a theory that the power of Taehyung and Jungkook's synergy is too great, so it can blur BTS's identity as a group. However, this theory is still a matter of debate. In further excavations by the Korean investigative media, it was found that only a few key people actually knew the contents and plans of this project. One of them is the former creative director of HYBE, who now works as an independent consultant. In a limited interview, he stated, "The project was one of the best concepts I've ever worked on. Both of them, Taehyung and Jungkook, have such strong but different artistic souls. Eternity is designed to bring together their powers. But yes, sometimes too much power is feared." Not only that, even some BTS staff claim to have only heard the name of the project after the news leaked. This adds to the public's confidence that the project is very neatly hidden, even from people in the inner circle. Now the public is waiting. Will HYBE reopen the door for this project? Or will all this be buried as a dream that never came true? The fans' voices are getting louder. An online petition for the release of the Eternity project has been signed by more than 2 million people within 3 days. Fans don't just want the album, they want justice, so that the works of true artists like Taehyung and Jungkook aren't censored by corporate strategy. Some sources say that Taehyung and Jungkook are now starting to engage in internal discussions. They want to take a fresh look at the script of the old project and possibly renegotiate its embodiment, although it will have to be done independently of the label. What makes Eternity so meaningful is not just because of who is behind it, but because of what it contains. This is not just a duet album of 2 stars. This is a manifestation of relationships that have been built over the years, complex, trusting, colorful, and sometimes secretly painful relationships. If the project is released, it will not only prove that art cannot be constrained by corporate strategy, but it will also be a symbol of the courage of 2 young artists who chose to hear their own inner voices, and the voices of their fans who have always been there. In the long history of Korean music, there are not many stories as deep as this. The story of 2 young men who grow up together under the light of the world, but must face the shadow of decisions that they themselves do not know the origin. Now, with the opening of the truth about the Eternity project, the world has a second chance. One thing is for sure, Taehyung and Jungkook are not alone. They have millions of voices ready to stand with them. And like the name of the project itself, Eternity, that love and support will live on until time ceases to matter. If you want a docu version or a follow-up, e.g., investigating who canceled the project or Taekook's emotional side of the story, I can help too. Over the years, the world witnessed BTS' spectacular journey from their humble debut to becoming a global phenomenon. Names like Kim Taehyung, better known as V, and Jungkook, the Golden Meanie, have become symbols of love,